Greetings! Welcome to this episode of our debate series.
It has a name.
Name pending.
B.
Right. Well, welcome back to Deliberation Simulation. I'd like to call your attention to the unusual circumstance of me introducing this episode. This has proceeded from C's decision to enter the verbal contest and debate this contentious issue. Should superpowers be regulated legally?
I, C, am going to be arguing in favor of restrictive legislation.
I'm A, arguing against it.
You altered the theme song, didn't you?
Wasn't me.
I thought it could have a bit more feeling to it.
The terms of the engagement are thus. Our world has become one in which certain coincidental circumstances can result in superhuman powers the likes of which we see in the Marvel or DC universes. Alright, great. For the specifics of legislation, we will be using Marvel's Superhuman Registration Act. You may refer to me for the details. Are our contestants ready?
Yep, ready.
As I'll ever be.
Right, opening statements. For the first time, C, you have the floor.
Thank you. Now, who here has ever read a comic book? Then, I might ask, why in fiery, explosion-y, bulletproof, heart-stopping, head-opening, tri-state area-ending hell is this even a question? I know everyone wants to be the superhero and do battle with evil and all, but in compiling my hours of research on this subject, my conclusion is solid. If we let superpowered people run rampant, New York will look like this, or this, or this. And those are the movies where the heroes won. We have here a world where people can do damage on par with natural disasters. And just like we take precautions for natural disasters, we have to deal with superpowers before they become world-ending.
And A, your opening statement?
We live in a world where everyone is raised on stories of heroes.
We live in the optic lens. Do you mean Jay lives in a world?
I mean, we do too. We read a lot of stories as a kid.
Point conceded.
It's not your turn this time.
Apologies. Continue.
People want to be heroes. They want to fly and be free and save the world. Imagine all the good that could be done with superpowers. In every basket you might get a few bad eggs, but the majority of people just want to be good. Superheroes aren't natural disasters, they're people, like you and me. So they're basically just regular disasters. I'm fine with restricting an earthquake, but a person shouldn't have their rights and freedoms tampered with unless they've done something wrong.
Our system of government, our freedom, it's all based on no one person having all the power at once. Checks and balances, a system that has its origins in Montesquieu's Spirit of the Laws, and maybe all the way back to Plato's Republic. It's very interesting, actually, how that may have developed, because
C, remain focused. This is a nice job.
Right, sorry.
You're right that governmental power should be distributed, but we're not talking about the government here.
We're still talking about power, though, as Michel Foucault would attest. Judging by his views in panopticism,
Do not do that again.
Right. Well, judging by his views in that one essay that has a name, he would argue that security is only possible if you can watch the people most likely to upset it.
I'm not arguing for some kind of Cape feudalism here, just that watching people without their permission, or forcing them to give you that permission, is wrong.
Okay, but when gun laws are a hot topic already, I don't think giving free rein to people with more firepower is an option.
Guns aren't anything like superpowers, even I can tell that's bad logic.
Is not.
Is too.
Is it? I've been told not to participate.
We read so many superhero stories that we associate powers with violence, but that's simply not fair. Not every power is even specifically suited to violence. Look at our powers. How would we do in a fight?
I never want to find out.
That can stay Jay's problem.
Exactly. Some powers will be like ours, and even the ones that can be used for violence don't have to be. Super strength is useful for so much more than just punching people.
Okay, but powers make up for it by being worse than guns.
They make up for making up for it by providing so much more. They're as likely to cause damage as your own hand is.
When you put the optic lens in debate mode just now, you went, "Welcome, new contender," and hit B in the face.
I corroborate my eyewitness account.
My point is that the damage you cause will be more. Smacking B in the face was nothing.
My version of events no longer aligns here.
But what if you had super strength? Even small mistakes would be thrown out of proportion. To err is human, and we should mitigate the damage.
I don't think that's the whole quote. I think it's, to err is human, to forgive is divine.
Yeah, but what relevance does it have here?
We've got to trust each other to do better and accept each other as we are. No one should be victimized for circumstances out of their control. Shouldn't we know that better than anyone?
Yeah, but also nobody should be attacked by supervillains who think that just because they fell into power, they can do whatever they want.
That people can already be born with a terrifying power that lets them skirt the law. Money. At least superpowers are a bit more random.
Sounds like an argument for more restriction, not less.
On people with too much money and an empathy deficiency, maybe.
I would like to remind the contestant to remain on task. I love this job. I think it's advantageous.
Superpowers might be random, but that doesn't always help their case. Do you trust the average person?
Well, yeah.
Alright. Well, the government doesn't. It's the very idea of government that people are subject to the power of the law, which is the people's power. We are each subject to each other, and theoretically that gives us equal freedom.
No one's arguing that powers should exempt you from the law at large. It'd still be illegal to murder or steal.
But what about secret identities? When a villain commits a crime in costume, or a hero goes a little too hard and fast, there are no repercussions.
No, then an investigation happens and you find them. Just like any schmuck with a ski mask.
But doesn't the secret identity complicate things?
On the contrary, maintaining secret identities could be important to fostering the empathy our society seems to lack.
How so?
What if you knew that the person you were just rude to was the same one who pulled you out of the way of a bus last week? Just the possibility is powerful. You might think twice about robbing someone who could be packing hydrokinesis.
No, it's just Rousseau and Locke's social contract again. I give up my right to murder people, and in exchange my right to not be murdered is protected.
But there, you made powered people give up more rights than common people. You open them up to exploitation.
The public wouldn't have to know who everyone is, just the government. Right?
Those are the terms of the contract.
And the government wouldn't exploit people? They'd give up the chance at controlling superweapons? I mean, it's almost part of a checks and balances system there, too.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, why not?
I'm not sure.
What would upset the balance more? Granting the government power over that many powerful people, or just letting those people live their lives?
That is certainly a factor.
Because as certain as the doors of the... Lost my train of thought there. I actually can't think of any more arguments. Do you think we could move on to phase 2?
Already? This does not follow the plan that I specifically laid out.
Alas, what a travesty.
No, I don't believe moving on is currently permissible.
Come on, be flexible.
Are the laws of the universe flexible?
Not this again.
B?
Please?
Well, alright.
Thank you.
The second phase. We have until now neglected to consider the power's origin. What if the power did correlate with more volatile individuals? What then? Does that shift the laws that should be in place?
Yes. Yes, right? Well, absolutely. Now the powers are more likely to be used for violence. Then my original argument stands. Power violence is always going to be bad, and it causes damage even when the heroes win.
Well, I don't think it'll be that bad.
Oh, yeah, me neither. When people are pushed to their worst places, that's when you get Punisher types with Wolverine claws and violent Kitty Pryde ripoffs.
Yeah, you get a few bad eggs, which is a good thing, because it gives the good guys pins to knock over to satisfy their conflict drives.
You can't trust that. People do horrible things with powers. And if Jay's favorite book that he forced me to read at Sword Point is any indication, real life doesn't have to abide by a TV-14 rating.
Okay, let me shift tactics.
I wasn't aware you were using one.
It was a vague tactic.
Oh, your specialty.
I'd like to point out that in Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson, which does include a conflict drive, they actually exempt so-called epics from the law pretty quickly.
Because they were terrifying monstrosities with no regard for human life.
True, but my point is that people knew it would only make things worse to try and contain and restrict the epics. I'm not saying our conflict drive works to the extreme that the Reckoners series boasts, but I think the principle holds true on the small scale, too.
So you propose that with a conflict drive we're screwed either way?
But we're more screwed if society imposes unequal restrictions on the power. If they feel cheated or that their treatment was unfair, how long before they say, "Screw this, I can shoot lasers"? And then where would we be?
Well, then we'd have some heroes we can verifiably trust take care of it.
Trust but verify means don't trust.
Maybe I don't trust. Maybe people without powers before is scary, but they didn't have a higher risk of causing damage. Now I think we're well past justified. Right. It's time to issue closing statements.
If the law comes down too hard on powered people, the injustice that they would feel could cause more damage than what would otherwise occur.
But if it doesn't come down hard enough, we risk further catastrophe. Well, this has been another exciting episode of our Deliberation simulation.
This was fun. You should come debate with us more often, see?
I think I'm going to return to my former function next time, but I will consider it. Well then, viewer, we hope to see you next time the alphabet is called to order.